to the 2018 Austrian Open Darts Championships here in Graz. It's now time to meet our players. Introducing to you first, a first-time Euro Pro Tour qualifier. From Germany, will you please welcome Simeon Heinz! Ladies and gentlemen, Simeon's opponent, a PDC Challenge Tour winner. From England, will you please welcome S.Taylor! Ladies and gentlemen, the format's still the best of 11. And your referee, hot-footed it from Rotterdam Premier League, it's the calculator, Kurt Bevins!
Welcome back to the now second half of the afternoon matches here at the Austrian Darts Open in Graz. Hot afternoon so far outside, but the darts are getting hotter inside. As we see Simeon Heinz with a little bit of Rammstein coming on to the stage. It's not like the Germans, to like a bit of hard rock. But he's up against S.Taylor, the northwest of England, someone who has had ups and downs in the last 18 months. But in qualifying, he took out some very good players in Jamie Hughes, Aaron Monk and Chris Dobie. And that's got to be commended. But Heinz himself taking out some good players. But it's my pleasure to welcome to the commentary box this afternoon in Austria. Welcome to Dan Dawson.
Good afternoon, one and all. The Austrian Darts Open finally here, arrived on the same plane as that man, the slightly pink-tanned Kurt Bevins. Along with some of the actual big names in world darts. Simon Whitlock, Joe Cullen, Peter Wright, all now here in Austria, ready for the second day when the seeded players enter the fray. It is Gerwyn Price, the Welsh #1, who awaits the winner of this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg is Simeon to throw first. Game on!
Simeon Heinz, one of a handful of German qualifiers, and of course, look, there are players out there who moan. They moan about the number of host nation qualifying spots available on the European Tour. Well,
100.
This isn't host nation stuff. This is European qualifiers with all the Dutch. Players like Christo Reyes in there. And we've got Max Hopp, Simeon Heinz, Kevin Munch and Gabriel Clemens all made it through. Half of those European qualifying spots have been won by Germans. I think that's probably an indication, as well as what happened last weekend, that things are moving in the right direction in German darts.
I think you might be right, Dan.
Took a sudden lurch in the right direction last weekend with that incredible win for Max Hopp.
100.
Managed to catch any of that?
On my way home, I was scrambling for results, flying back to Heathrow, trying to gather my thoughts after having my rear end delivered to me by a certain large Dutchman.
60.
Benito is here, by the way.
He is here.
On the same plane.
S.Taylor
60.
qualifying for this event. I mentioned beat Jamie Hughes, which is a great win right now because Jamie Hughes is so dangerous. Aaron Monk, always hard to beat, and in beating Chris Dobie, Chris admitted that he missed a lot of doubles in that match, but S.Taylor's not going to whinge at that.
60.
Yeah, well, that's 3 great wins there for S.Taylor to qualify for his second Euro Tour of the year. Since then, he's only won 1 game in 10 across all competitions. But that is a little flavour of what he can do. 171 to leave the double 18.
Well, the style of Simeon Heinz is a little unorthodox. And maybe just having a few nerves on the stage. S.Taylor, of course, has played on the Euro stage before, double 9. Yeah, no problem. Good start from Scott, gets a break of throw after losing the ball. Of course, both players have to go for the ball around about 30 minutes before they grace the stage, and whoever wins the ball goes first. Simeon won that ball but has already lost his throw.
Yeah, great winning the ball if you go out there and hold throw assertively in the opening leg. Not so good if you don't.
I wonder if Simeon likes hot rods. Because his darts have got flames on them.
Yeah, I have spotted that little detail.
Scott's a very workman-like young player. Challenge to a winner from that hotbed of darts up in Bolton. Uncomplicated dart player, just gets up and chucks them.
100.
That pretty much sums him up. He's a chizzy type player, just gets up and wallop.
Yeah, and it is wallop as well, because he does really launch him into the board.
96.
The only qualm I'd have with Scott's action, there just seems to be a lot of shoulder in it. It's really, he's almost following it into the board himself sometimes. Simeon appears quite the opposite in that it's all on, but it's just a bit loose. It's just...
There's not much rigidity to it, or structure. There's a bit of structure to that, though. There might have been a bit of shoulder on the third dart, but it's definitely where it wanted to go.
Once again, he's on a potential 14 darter.
60.
It's 107 average if you're going to throw 14 darters all the way through the game. 15 will do, tops.
64.
Shake of the head, but he knows he's going to be back.
And Simeon hasn't really settled into this game as of yet. It almost reminds me of Albertino Esses. Remember him?
No.
From the Netherlands. Played at Lakeside a few times. Double 10 for Scott Taylor. One of our backstage staff, Richard Ashton, will definitely remember Albertino Esses.
Good name. I tell you, we talked about Scott Taylor's qualifying. Simeon Heinz qualifying, he beat Marvin Essa. Okay, not a huge name, but then saw off Christian Kist, former Lakeside World Champion, 6-1, and then beat Danny Noppert 6-2. So he must have been playing some fantastic darts that night. And that would have been the night as well. That had been late into the night. That European qualifier for this event went on till ran about 1:30 in the morning.
That's better. Right in the middle of that 60.
100.
That's a little bit better. He's got to get better than that, because I just feel Scott Taylor's got more gears right now. As soon as I say that,
90.
it's 2 treble 5s, but rescues it well with a 60. Simeon's a type of cat, isn't it?
A Simeon's a monk means monkey-like.
Of course it does.
100.
Yeah.
You watch more documentaries than I do.
I do, yeah. I spend a lot of time with monkeys.
I spent time with monkeys last week after I was eliminated from Saarbrück, and I went to the zoo with Keegan Brown.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say Aaron Monk. It's been a while since we've seen him on the European tour.
Well, hopefully we will see him. I'm pretty sure we will see him at the next one.
I've got a feeling he has qualified for at least one coming up, Aaron Monk. The return of the Mad Monk.
He is mad.
Yeah.
But we love him for it.
41.
Poor leg this one from Scott Taylor. First one he's had really in terms of scoring, and it just opens the door for Simeon Heinz to try and, well, okay, knock the 7 off. I suppose that's an option.
47.
Yeah, Scott's got to get straight now. Just stop spraying into 5s and 7s and things like that. Just keep nice and straight and just let them come together.
60.
3 better darts. Just got to adjust the weight a little bit. Still going to have that break of throw no matter what happens here. And Simeon's got to get over the line. That leaves 90.
58.
So there's an opportunity here for Scott Taylor. If he can find 2 trebles, that 72 of Heinz will be under pressure.
85.
Well, it might be enough, but 119 is nobody's favourite checkout. 20 for tops. That can be a blocker dart, but he's not moving. Just goes over the top of it and straight in. Simeon Heinz gets a leg on the board.
First, game on.
That was a very good kill. And that should settle him down a bit now, but S.Taylor starting this leg with real purpose. Winner of this one, of course, gets Gezi Price. Someone who seems to be adjusting to life outside of the Premier League and just getting a little bit better week on week.
Yeah, well, almost immediately after being eliminated, he started to play a little bit better. He's not quite got the consistency yet going, but I tell you what, the signs are there. And all the way through last year, Gerwin was threatening to go on and make a final on one of these, or potentially go on and win it. There were times when he's looked like the best player in the field, but it didn't happen for him. If he can get back to that sort of form, oh, how about this?
126.
There's a big opportunity this weekend, isn't there, for somebody? No Van Gerwen. That automatically gets people talking about who's going to win this one. I'd probably have to say that Michael Smith may be the favourite after making the final last week in Saarbrücken, but there will be a lot of people. Well, I've something to say about that. And as Heinz hits a 140, that's the score that S.Taylor wants. And he snarls at that 5.
66.
This is better.
Now then, Simeon.
100.
Now then! Nod of the head. First maximum for the German. Pressure applied. We could have a level game in a moment. Stay in there. Yeah, he did. Nothing wrong with that decision. The execution wasn't there.
We're starting to see a little bit of what took out Danny Noppert in qualifying. That leaves 56. That leaves 40. A double he hit last time around.
24.
Now S.Taylor's got to take care of this. He can't give anything, any crumbs to his opponent, and he doesn't. Really well executed. S.Taylor needs to keep that gap.
Well, when you're on a losing run like S.Taylor is, I mean, he's lost his last, 6 games. He's lost 9 of the last 10, dating back to the qualifier that we saw
60.
for this tournament. I mean, you know, some heavy defeats there as well. I mean, beaten 6-1 by some bloke called Nicholson.
99.
First round in Barnsley. Can you imagine?
That must have been a while ago.
I can tell you it was the 10th of March.
Yeah, played all right that day.
Well, when you're on that losing run,
100.
even positions like this, you can get nervous. You can start thinking, well, what if it does start going wrong, like it has been doing a lot lately?
140.
Especially when you're the favourite.
I just get the feeling that Scott is still learning from everything he's doing. I don't think he's the kind of player or person to overcomplicate things. I firmly believe he's a chizzy type player who just gets up and throws them at the board. That's about as much of a facial expression as you'll get from that little curl of a lip. Very John Wayne-like. Or Clint Eastwood-like. Doesn't give much away, Scott. And in darting terms, that's a very good thing. Because you don't want to feed your opponent with gestures and bits of emotion.
95.
And yes, that's the pot calling the kettle black.
Well, I didn't say anything, Paul.
Everybody's different.
100. Simeon Uruguay, 146.
Okay, so 104 for Scott, which is very doable. Only 1 treble required. 146 needs 2. Can't get the first one. So, coming back for 104, what kind of pressure is that going to be under? Because 80 scored leaves 66.
100.
I suppose that's one way to go. If it is 60 there, that would have left double 3.
I always love it when they stand back, do the maths, and then just throw it anyway.
Game's on the 5th.
I like it when they throw it straight in as well. Double top for 104 checkout. That's the biggest one we've seen of the game, and S.Taylor is firmly in charge of this one.
That second dart was very precarious, you know. When he hit that 57, he was going for 7 in tops. But if he'd have had a tiny bit more on that was going in the treble 19. There was a big flick off that flight, and it was a very kind one.
Are you a player who subscribes to the if you need a big number to leave a double, don't go anywhere where you could possibly bust yourself? So like if you need 52, single 20 to leave double 16, loads of players do that, but you can, and we have seen players accidentally put one in the treble 20.
Oh, me included.
Well, yeah. It's easier than you think to accidentally hit a 60.
All you need is a little bit of a puller, and you're in that 60 going, and you've hit 8 too many. But I'm such a big fan of double 16 ordinarily that I'd always go 20 for double 16, but professional dart players should not be missing singles. And he's not missing trebles, Scott-Taylor. He's sprinting for the line. At the moment he's on the back straight, but he's got a healthy lead.
180 number 2 for Taylor to add to the 171 he fired in the very first leg. And Heinz, who just suggested for a little moment in this game that he might be coming back into it, might have found his feet. It's all sort of crumbling before him again now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit similar to Richie Edhouse's walk-on music. Let's get ready to crumble.
There we go. See? You weren't sure where it was going, and then you found out.
We will see Richie Edhouse later on. Always a good player to watch. He's playing against Alex Steinbauer, one of the home nation qualifiers from yesterday.
Is he not against Darius Labanauskas?
It is.
This afternoon. Steinbauer's up against Richie Burnett, the Prince of Wales.
I'm looking at the wrong Richie on my notes here. Thank you for correcting me. Double 18 for Scott. It's double 9 now. Yeah, very good indeed. Said he was sprinting down the back straight. Well, he's in the home straight now. He only needs one more leg.
He does, yeah. Richie Ed, I think that's an interesting game, that one with Labanauskas, because Labanauskas is dominating that Scandinavian circuit, the Nordic and Baltic circuit. He is way out in the lead at the top of their order of merit. And as we've established, that is unfortunate. You can see it there, just resting on the flight. The point never making it to the board.
He pierced the flight and it twisted in the air. That doesn't happen very often. That's one for YouTube. Very much like James Wilson's bounce out.
Well, look, his darts do things which I can only understand by ascribing it to witchcraft. But yeah, Labanauskas playing some really, really impressive stuff on that Scandinavian circuit. Well, he must have. I've not seen him play it, but if you top that list, then you've got to be.
100
and that is 180 number 3. Scott Taylor is charging towards a place in the second round to take on Gerwyn Price. Now, he didn't make it past round 1 when he appeared at the German Darts Grand Prix earlier on this year. Prior to that, you've got to go back a long way for when Scott Taylor featured on the European Tour. Back to the German Darts Championship at the back end of 2016 when he did make the second round, but he has gone no further than that. Scott Taylor looks like he's going to give himself a chance. Scott Taylor actually only lost the eventual champion Alan Norris in that tournament in round 2.
No disgrace in that whatsoever. And right now he's got a bucket load of darts to take care of this 167 and be playing tomorrow. And he can spend the rest of the day enjoying the sunshine and the spoils of victory. $60 for double 12 when he comes back. And this hasn't been a great performance from Simeon Heinz. This has been steady enough from Scott Taylor. Doesn't have to go 14 ball. Went for treble 8 because he does like tops, but he will have tops when he comes back.
Yes, he will, and I think this spells the end for Simeon Heinz. His debut on the European Tour has been pretty brief and may not end very well there. Tops means Heinz is out. 6-1, Scott Taylor is through to face Gerwyn Price tomorrow. 3 more games this afternoon for you. Richie Edhouse, Darius Labanauskas, Steve Lennon, the young Irishman, against the only RJ Rod we have in Austria this weekend, the chainsaw Roxy James Rodriguez. But before that, it's another Euro Tour debutant, Tamas Alexic from Hungary, taking on Jason Cullen of Ireland.
Well done, Scott. Pleased with that?
I'll take any win I can at the minute. I've not been playing well, so I'll take that. Definitely.
You definitely take that well. I'll tell you what, you had, 3 180s there, 60% on your checkouts. I ain't going to do you in too bad a stead, is it?
It was a lot better than Munich, so I'll definitely take that.
So a big improvement on that. You won on the Challenge Tour, now on the Big Boys Tour, the Euro Pro Tour. Enjoying it?
Yeah, I've not done too well, but I'm definitely enjoying it. I try my best. Things haven't been going my way, so keep going, see what happens.
Fingers crossed, going through to the next round. Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, S.Taylor!